You hear the music. Hello, everybody. I'm Matt Robinson, and welcome to another exciting edition of the League Wraparound. This is the program that gets you caught up on anything and everything happening around the world of the NFL. Coming up on this edition of the program, that's right, the playoffs are here. The regular season is over with, and we'll preview the NFL playoffs. Specifically, we'll preview Super Wildcard Weekend. Also, we have the latest head coaching firings. Also, we'll have your all-pro rosters, your game picks, and so much more. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. And on behalf of my family to yours, I'd like to wish you and yours a safe and prosperous Happy New Year. All right, as always, I like to start off with my top three storylines. I like to start off talking about Aaron Rodgers. So, Aaron Rodgers is many things. He's an enigma. He's talented. Some say he can be strange. Some say he's controversial. A lot of people, including myself, think he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer whenever he decides to hang it up. In the Week 18 regular season finale with his New York Jets playing the Miami Dolphins, Rodgers hit another milestone. He became the fifth quarterback in NFL history to throw for over 500 career touchdown passes. Rodgers finished the game impressive. He passed for 274 yards, and he had 4 touchdown passes and an interception. So currently, Rodgers has 503 career touchdown passes in his career. The way Rodgers played in the last month and a half as the quarterback of the New York Jets was impressive. Did Rodgers have a great year this year? No, he didn't. Did he have a good year this year? No, he didn't. I would say his 2024 season was decent, marginal, was solid, but you can tell that really much of the year he was playing with not much confidence. Specifically, if you watch the Jets play this year and how he was running up and down the field, he was questioning to see if he still had it, coming off of an Achilles injury. That's a lot. But the last month and a half, Rodgers played with more confidence game by game. He still had the rocket arm. He was running up and down the field. You could see that he was slowly building his confidence back up. I don't know if we saw Aaron Rodgers one last time in the NFL or if it's his last time being a member of the New York Jets, but Aaron Rodgers still has it. I think he can still play. Now, I don't know, pending what happens at the end of the season, when the playoffs are over with, and, of course, whenever whichever team hoists the Lombardi Trophy in February, what's going to happen. And then, of course, the NFL Draft will be in April. I don't know what's going to happen. This is going to be, this past draft, the 2024 NFL Draft, was loaded with talent at the quarterback position. This year's draft, very little quarterback talent. You have Shedeur Sanders, there's Cam Ward, there's also Quinn Ewers, and you've got Dylan Gabriel. But it just doesn't have the pop like a Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Drake May and J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix. It just doesn't have the pop like 2024. Me, honestly, I think Aaron returns for the 2025 NFL season. I see Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback of the New York Jets, and I also see a possible reunion happening with the New York Jets and Rex Ryan, and I'll get into all of the head coaching firings in just a little bit, but bottom line is this. Aaron Rodgers, he was beat up this year, took a lot of sacks, but the last month and a half, the confidence was growing slowly but surely. Again, coming off of the Achilles injury, he was concerned, and there were concerns about how mobile could he be. There were flashes of the old Aaron Rodgers in terms of the mobility side, but bottom line is this. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I do see him playing next season in the 2025 NFL season, and I see him back in that green and white as a New York Jet. My next storyline is going to be head coach firings. So as always, the day after the NFL regular season is complete, Monday is always a sad day in the NFL. It's referred to as Black Monday. You have head coach firings and you have GMs, general managers that are let go. So far we had Doug Peterson was let go by the Jacksonville Jaguars after 3 seasons with the team. It included a playoff appearance, a playoff win, and a one AFC South Division title. So during his time with Jacksonville, he had a record. His overall head coaching record was 22 wins and 29 losses. The New England Patriots, they let go of Gerard Mayo after just 1 season with the team. They went 4-13. The Las Vegas Raiders, after only 1.5 seasons as the head coach of the Raiders, Antonio Pierce, he was let go. Now, the Pierce firing, I think the Raiders should have stayed with him at least 2 more years. I think if the Raiders get their quarterback, Pierce should have stayed with the team. If you look at last year when Pierce was the interim head coach and the Raiders, they beat the Chiefs on Christmas Day at Arrowhead. And then this year, the Raiders had a close game with the Chiefs at Arrowhead on the Black Friday game. They didn't win that game, but they challenged Kansas City. With the Raiders getting their quarterback, I really thought Pierce should have been given at least 1, maybe 2 more years as the head coach. Peterson and Jacksonville, I could see that coming. Mayo and the Patriots, I probably would have given that at least 1 more year, but the writings were on the wall with that one. But I really thought Pierce should have been given at least 2 more years. If the Raiders draft their quarterback, I think Antonio could have worked with something there, but hey, you know, the NFL, it doesn't just stand for the National Football League. It stands for not for long. And not for long will you have a job. And hey, it comes with the territory. It's a business. And, you know, the Raiders, we'll see what happens with that ownership, man. But a once proud franchise, and, you know, it still is one of the most respected franchises, not just in the NFL, but in all of sports, but just questionable decisions. And I thought Pierce should have stayed at least maybe 2 more years with the team. You draft the quarterback and let's see what happens. But Antonio Pierce no longer the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So as I mentioned earlier, Doug Peterson let go by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Gerard Mayo let go by the New England Patriots. Also, after 2 seasons as the general manager of the Tennessee Titans, Ran Carthon was let go from the team, and the Las Vegas Raiders fired their general manager after only 1 season, Tom Telesco. So it's an unfortunate thing the day after the regular season is over with. Black Monday, teams find out they're going to be missing the playoffs. And then also, too, you have teams that find out that their coaches or their general managers will no longer be with the team. And then also, too, the Miami Dolphins, they've let go of their wide receivers coach, Wes Welker, that's an interesting move right there because Miami, the last couple of years, one of the best offenses in the league. Head coach Mike McDaniel certainly rocking and rolling with that offense. And, you know, Wes Welker, when you think about him, one of the toughest receivers to play in the league. And Miami, they've got, you know, of course, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith at the tight end position. That was an interesting move right there by the Miami Dolphins to do that, but that was a little bit of a shocker right there. But again, Wes Welker let go by the Dolphins as wide receivers coach. So again, it's the unfortunate case of being in the National Football League. The NFL also stands for not for long, and not for long will you have a job. And sometimes when it's results driven, you still can be let go, or even when results are not being met, you still get to keep a job. Wow, it's an interesting thing, man. It's very, very interesting. But anyhow, again, that's the latest standings currently in the National Football League in terms of head coach and general manager firings. And my last storyline is going to be the NFL playoffs. So the regular season is over with. Second season is here, and we've got some solid matchups, which we'll get into in just a little bit, but Vikings-Rams. These games are going to be top-notch. Overall, man, I mean, this is what makes the NFL so unique. Regular season was solid, but I think the playoffs are going to be better because, hey, there is no, you lose this game, hey, there's always next week. No, there is no next week. In the words of the late, great Carl Weathers in Apollo Creed in Rocky III, you got to understand, Stallion, there is no tomorrow, and there is no tomorrow. You know what there is? There is a vacation to Cancun or Cabo or Cozumel. That's what there is. There is no tomorrow. You win, you play another week. You lose, there is no tomorrow. There is no next week, and it's just that simple. All right, so before we get into previewing the Super Wildcard Weekend and the playoff matchups, the 2024 All-Pro teams were released, and according to the Associated Press, the Pro Football Writers of America, and the Sporting News. So let's start off with offense. The All-Pro team for the year 2024, at the first team offense at the quarterback position, Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens. At the running back position, Saquon Barkley from the Philadelphia Eagles. At fullback, we have Patrick Ricard from the Baltimore Ravens. At the wide receiver position, Jamar Chase from the Cincinnati Bengals. Also, Justin Jefferson from the Minnesota Vikings. And Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Detroit Lions. At the tight end position, Brock Bowers from the Las Vegas Raiders. Left tackle is Tristan Wirfs from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At left guard, Joe Thuney from the Kansas City Chiefs. At center, we had Creed Humphrey from the Kansas City Chiefs. At right guard, Quinn Miners from the Denver Broncos. And at right tackle, Penei Sewell from the Detroit Lions. And at second team offense, at quarterback, Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills. At running back, Derrick Henry from the Baltimore Ravens. At fullback, Kyle Juszczyk from the San Francisco 49ers. The wide receivers, Terry McLaurin from the Washington Commanders, CeeDee Lamb from the Dallas Cowboys, and A.J. Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles. At the tight end position, George Kittle from the San Francisco 49ers. At left tackle, Jordan Mailata from the Philadelphia Eagles. At left guard, Quentin Nelson from the Indianapolis Colts. At the center position, Frank Ragnow from the Detroit Lions. At the right guard position, Chris Lindstrom from the Atlanta Falcons. And at right tackle, Lane Johnson from the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's move over now to the defensive side. First team defense. At the edge rusher position, Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns and Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals. At defensive tackle, Cam Hayward from the Pittsburgh Steelers and Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Linebackers, Zach Bond from the Philadelphia Eagles, Fred Warner from the San Francisco 49ers, Roquan Smith from the Baltimore Ravens. The cornerbacks, Patrick Surtain from the Denver Broncos and Derek Stingley Jr. from the Houston Texans. The nickelback will be Marlon Humphrey from the Baltimore Ravens. And the safeties are Kirby Joseph from the Detroit Lions and Xavier McKinney from the Green Bay Packers. At second team defense, the edge rushers are T.J. Watt from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Nick Bonito from the Denver Broncos, Andrew Van Ginkel from the Minnesota Vikings. The defensive tackles will be Zach Allen from the Denver Broncos and Jalen Carter from the Philadelphia Eagles. The linebackers are Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner from the Washington Commanders and Zaire Franklin from the Indianapolis Colts. The cornerbacks will be Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs and Christian Gonzalez from the New England Patriots. At the nickelback position, Derwin James from the Los Angeles Chargers. And at the safety position, Kyle Hamilton from the Baltimore Ravens and Budda Baker from the Arizona Cardinals. And at special teams, First-team place kicker will be Chris Boswell from the Pittsburgh Steelers. At the punter position, Jack Fox from the Detroit Lions. At kickoff returner, Cavante Turpin from the Dallas Cowboys. Punt returner, Marvin Mims Jr. from the Denver Broncos. At the special teamer will be Brendan Schooler from the New England Patriots. And the long snapper will be Andrew DePaula from the Minnesota Vikings. And the second team, place kicker, Brandon Aubrey from the Dallas Cowboys. At punter, Logan Cook from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kickoff returner, Austin Eckler from the Washington Commanders. Punt returner, Khalif Raymond from the Detroit Lions. Special teamer, J.T. Gray from the New Orleans Saints. And the long snapper was Ross Matisic from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And there you have it. Those are your 2024 All-Pro team selections, first and second team. Again, these selections were made by the Associated Press, Football Writers of America, and the Sporting News. All right, so that takes care of that. Now let's preview Super Wildcard Weekend in the NFL playoffs. The Minnesota Vikings will square off against the Los Angeles Rams. So with the Rams, a lot of emotion will be in this game. So much is at stake with this game, specifically going on with the wildfires in the Los Angeles area and in that particular part of Southern California. The Rams are going to be playing for a lot in this game. It's going to be emotion-filled on their end. And the Vikings, it's going to be emotion-filled for them as well, because this game could dictate what happens in the offseason. Will Sam Darnold be brought back for maybe 2, 3, maybe a 4-year contract? Or will they test the waters of free agency and maybe hand the keys to J.J. McCarthy a little bit early? Whatever the case may be, Vikings and Rams, man, this should be a game filled with a lot of offense. I believe in this game, and as I stated earlier, particularly on the Rams side, there's going to be a lot of emotions in this game. And this was supposed to be a Rams home game at the SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, but because of the wildfires that are happening in the Los Angeles area, the game has been moved to State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, which is home to the NFL's Arizona Cardinals. But again, so much is at stake in this game, and it should be a lot of storylines. There certainly is going to be a lot of drama between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. All right, before we get on out of here, I want to give you my picks on who I think will win Super Wildcard Weekend. I like the LA Rams to beat the Minnesota Vikings. So again, my picks are LA Rams. And that's it. And there you have it. And that's going to do it for another exciting edition of the program. Till next time, everybody, I'm Ed Robinson saying so long. And before we get on out of here, again, another setback for the Cleveland, or another setback for Deshaun Watson. Quarterback Deshaun Watson ruptured his Achilles tendon once again. He had a setback during training that was taking place during a training session that he had in Miami. So the Cleveland Browns announced it on their social media platforms as well as on other media platforms that Deshaun Watson re-ruptured his Achilles tendon, and his status for the 2025 NFL season is highly unlikely. And that's tough, man, when you have a setback like that, when you re-rupture your Achilles. But again, the Cleveland Browns have announced that quarterback Deshaun Watson has re-ruptured his Achilles tendon, and his status for the 2025 NFL season is highly unlikely. And once again, that's going to do it for this edition of the program. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims of the terrible wildfires in the Los Angeles area, and our thoughts and prayers are with those affected. And again, from my family to yours, I'd like to wish you and yours a Happy New Year. Till next time, everybody, take care.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.